Dude, I completely forgot this was a DLC car. Yo boys, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we're gonna keep it chill. You know, keep it nice and chill. And we will be discussing Forza Horizon 4, some of its features, and then obviously we're gonna be doing Forza-thon here in Horizon 3. So, if you care, then stay tuned. And I know there's a lot of like oversaturation right now because the trailer was just released and everything. So, you know, if you don't want to watch this, I completely understand because I wouldn't either. Oh boys, let's hop into this guy. Now, I believe this is a stock motor. I try and keep everything stock motor in this game if I possibly can. So, single turbo V6 Cyclone. Should be, I don't know, pretty solid. Now, the first thing I'd like to discuss when it comes to Forza Horizon 4 is, of course, the hovercraft, the bikes, and Toyota, which are, you know, the main things that stood out to me, as well as the seasons, but we're starting with those. Now, back when Forza Horizon 3 and Forza Horizon 2 were both released, those were the ones that I was actually like hyped on, because Horizon 1, I wasn't really into Forza yet. When those trailers released, there was the same thing. They had the fighter jets for Horizon 3, if you remember, which I barely remember. It was just some like showcase event in the city. There's also the blimp, which was the final showcase. Now, like, both of those events are completely irrelevant. They're fun for 5-6 minutes as long as they last, and then after you completely forget about them. I feel like the same exact thing is going to happen with the hovercraft and the bikes. You can't drive them, you just drive your kin block focus around while the bikes are chasing you, and that's the end of the showcase. I feel like that's the extent of the event, and after, like, you forget about it after a couple minutes playing. So I feel the only reason they put these in the trailer is to help sell more copies. People new to Forza see like, oh, that's sick, you can drive hovercrafts, you can drive bikes. By the time they get to that part in the game, they realize it's just one event, and then they get all disappointed and let down. But Forza doesn't care because they already sold a copy of the game, you know, so the main idea there is to sell copies. So will we be able to drive the hovercraft or the bikes? I doubt it, like hardcore doubt it. Next, we need to hop into an Alfa Romeo to complete 5 head-to-head races. Why 5, bro? Jeez. Let's hop into the 4C. It's been a while since I've driven this guy, and I used to love the car. There's a wide-body kit for it, and, like, I don't know what the kit is. I think it's just, like, some aftermarket race parts company. I don't know. Now, as it is starting to rain in the game, I think that's a perfect transition into talking about the whole season situation. Now, from the trailer, you saw the main thing was the switching of seasons. It started out in like summer or whatever, and then it transitioned into winter with snow on the mountains and all that. That's great if it's done properly. You see, for me, I make videos like all the time, right? Every day I'm recording a video. So if it's winter and I want to drift a car in a certain spot, I'm not going to be able to drift in the snow. Like, yeah, sure, it's possible, but it's not the same consistency and everything. So if I want to have a good time sliding, then I'm not going to be able to if winter consumes the entire map, right? So, for example, Blizzard Mountain. I can drift in the main map on Forza Horizon 3, and then if I want to go to the snow, I can go to Blizzard Mountain. I like that personally, but I know because this is Forza, we're not going to be able to control the seasons. It's just going to be on an automatic cycle. Part of me likes that, and part of me really hates it. It is what it is. I can't change that, obviously, but it would be nice if at some point we get control. Maybe it's our private servers, you know, how I can come in here, make my own session and all that. If it's like that and we can change the seasons, I'd be perfectly fine. We just need some form of control. Next, we're going to talk about Toyota. Now, Toyota is in the game, as you see, like I'm looking at a screenshot right now of a Toyota truck racing. But it's not a Toyota, okay? Here's how this works. Toyota didn't give the licensing to Turn10 or any of the other games. That's why they're not in, you know, Need for Speed Payback, The Crew, any of those things. But what they did give is the licensing to TRD. Now, TRD, if you don't know, is Toyota Racing Division. I believe, please Please correct me if I am wrong, but I believe this is the situation. So TRD vehicles, such as the racing trucks, this and that, they are in the game, but it's not going to be anything super special. So for example, you have the Top Gear Hilux, which is a like TRD vehicle. You have the racing like trophy trucks, and a couple other vehicles. So technically they are still Toyotas, they're just not like the Supras and MR2s and whatever else we want in the game. So basically it's the same situation as Motorsport 7. So I am currently on a website looking at an article, and there's just bullet points listing off some features and whatever from the trailer. It's like a day old, so you know, it's E3 right now, there's constantly new information. But this says there will be over 450 cars to collect in Horizon 4. 450, why is that an issue? Because Motorsport 7, I believe it had something like 700 cars. Alright, I think the Motorsport 7 car list is just fine. I'd like those vehicles, I'd like a couple more that aren't in there, but you know, some of them I don't want. That's just kind of how it goes. But 450, that's half the amount of cars. Half. So my worry here is another brand is getting cut. For example, we didn't have Volkswagen in Horizon 3. Everybody was disappointed about that. We didn't have Toyota in Motorsport 7. So by there only being 450 cars, my worry is that they cut another brand. So we may not have Volkswagen, Toyota, or something else. Although we did have Volkswagen in Motorsport 7, so it's probably going to be returning. But I'm worried another brand is being cut, to be honest. 450 cars. There's literally like 0 point to get rid of them unless they just couldn't find some to render or whatever. And I don't see why they need that, because the renders from past games look just fine. Like this render, they could literally just copy and paste this into the new game. So tell me what you guys think about the 450 plus car list. That sounds great until you realize how many cars were in Motorsport 7, because there's almost 700 cars, 700 plus, whatever. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I remember that being a selling point, like, oh, look at all these cars. Now we have half as many cars. Like, that's not good. So tell me what you think, if cars are getting cut, if there's cars still there. I really care about Nissan, okay? Like, I'm a Nissan boy, and I know Nissan's in because the S15 was in the trailer, alright? So I'm happy. Well, I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? Because it's not in Japan. If you spend any time whatsoever on Twitter, then you would know that this Forza-thon is pretty significant. Let's take a look at all these events. The first one, complete a race in a GMC. Alright, American, yep, GMC. Complete races in the Alfa Romeo. Alright, Italian, yep. Get Ebisu skills in a Holden. Ebisu is a track in Japan if you are unaware. Holden, Australian car company. Perform 4J turns in a Nissan. If you look at these cars in order here, you have the United States, you have Europe, you have Australia, and you have Japan. If for some reason you can't put these things together, then let me explain it to you. Okay. The first Forza Horizon 1, was held in Colorado, which is where? The United States, GMC. The second Horizon game was held in Europe. I believe it was just like all of Europe. I could be wrong, but you know, Italian, that's pretty much as European as it gets, okay? Horizon 3, where we are currently, is in Australia. Holden, Australia. Forza Horizon 4, Japan. That just makes sense. So basically, Turn10 has snaked us all. Hardcore snake, like slithery snake, you know what I'm saying? So the second I watched the trailer, I can't even express to you how disappointed I was that it was not in Japan. This spoiler from Forza-thon, or leak, or whatever you want to call it, just snaked us so hard, and I was already so set on it being in Japan. I don't know why they wouldn't set it in Japan, okay? Japan is an epicenter of car culture, right? You've got all the drift tracks, you've got so much culture, heritage, manufacturing, everything in Japan. Everything. What do you have in, like, Great Britain and Switzerland or wherever it is? You don't really have much car culture at all. So I don't understand that. Like, it really just triggers me, you know? But we got snaked. I got played. You got played. We all got played, man. with the completion of the head-to-head races, we have a perfect transition into the next topic, which is drift suspension upgrades. If you are unaware, we are getting drift suspension in the next game. But some people don't realize this. We have had drift suspension since Horizon 2. Or actually Horizon 1, but I don't believe it was the same in Horizon 1. So pretty much Horizon 2. For the achievement, we need to hop into a hold-in. So let's quickly do that, and I will demonstrate for you guys. I have not built this guy yet, so let's quickly build this guy up, and I will demonstrate our drift suspension that's been in the game forever, people. We're all in like a track car kind of look on this guy, so there's some NKs on here, RPF 1s. So when you are upgrading your suspension, you have a couple of options: Street, which may or may not be available; Sport, which is available most of the time but no one uses because you're either throwing on Race or Rally. Now, people throw on Race because it looks low and, you know, it's race car suspension. But what you don't realize is Rally suspension gives you more steering angle. Yes, look up any test video online and you will see that Rally suspension gives you more steering angle than race suspension. So basically what I'm saying here is Rally suspension is actually drift suspension. People just don't realize that because you only know if you know. You can look it up on YouTube. There are literally head-to-head comparisons, same car, using like lines in the road and stuff to show you that Rally suspension gives you more steering angle. And it does, okay? What else is super important in drifting? Squat. And what does Rally suspension give you? More squat. So you get more grip and you drift faster. Like, it's literally Rally suspension is literally race suspension. Now, if you are new to the channel, you might just be hearing me on my soapbox rambling about how drift suspension is this and that. What you don't realize is, like, I'm a drifty guy, okay? I like drifting, I slide all the time. And I realize Rally suspension doesn't enable you to go full shopping cart, but this is not Car X, okay? This is Forza. It's not a drift simulator or anything. Like, that's moderate angle. It's not too bad. And you may realize, when I just slam this guy, look at how low she is, guys. Look at how low that's probably lower than race suspension. And on some cars, it is. It's like almost bad. That's how low we're talking. Go hop in an Aston Martin DB11 and put Rally suspension on it. Tell me that's not lower than race suspension. Okay, because it is. I know. I've done the test. According to this particular article, they also said that we will get 2 guaranteed expansions, which is important because if you buy Ultimate Edition, you want to get those expansions at a discount or free or whatever it was. I believe they were a discount in Horizon 3. So that's important if you buy Ultimate Edition, a big perk of buying Ultimate Edition, as well as like 4 days early and the car packs. So, you know, if you're going to play the game for a long time, I would highly recommend buying the Ultimate Edition. If it's the same, you still get like 6 months car packs and whatever else. Next, we obviously have one of the biggest points, which is the 72-player multiplayer server. I think this is kind of like a play on words, where we're not actually getting a 72-player server, but it's technically possible. Will you be able to go in free roam and chill with 72 of your friends, or technically 71? No. I really doubt it. We'll have to see how that one plays out over the course of the next couple weeks during interviews and whatever. But I really doubt that we're going to be able to do that. The Xbox One X and One S are probably capable of like supporting that. But for me, I have an original Xbox One, like the first generation before the Xbox One S, before the updates, before all that stuff, or like hardware updates. I have the original one, and I don't plan on getting an Xbox One X anytime soon. So for people like me who are still playing on their old systems, or maybe like a really bad PC or something, we're not going to be capable of joining those, like, because our hardware just can't support it. So I don't know if it'll automatically detect if you're on the One X or not. I don't know if that's possible because it's just an Xbox. We'll have to see where that one goes over the next couple weeks. Forzathon live events. So let me explain this the best I can. Forzathon is basically the progression in the game. We no longer have the stupid like story missions and like Forza Horizon 2 grind until your eyes fall out kind of missions. basically, we just progress through Forzathon, which I think is very welcome. I love doing events. If you didn't notice, if you take a look at my map, I've completed every single speed trap, every single jump, all the way. I've collected all these little XP boards, bonus boards, all of those, all barn finds. I've done everything here, okay? Yes, I have played the game for 200 days, but that's not the point, okay? I love these little mini missions. For example, I spent an entire day or entire weekend, whatever, going around drift zones, getting all the highest scores. So I went and I tried to get the highest score I could on my leaderboard. Now, yes, that was a long time ago. Better cars are probably out now, whatever. But I went around and tried to get top of the leaderboards everywhere I could. I did my best, you know, to get highest scores on all of them, be top of my friends list, whatever. I think little things like that are a must. And also, when you beat the game, for example, you beat all these, a lot of people haven't done this. Okay, I've completed every single championship and every single exhibition. You don't realize how many races that is. Look at all these races, okay? To complete a championship at one of these, to get this whole exhibition and championship gold thing, you have to start an exhibition and start a championship at this race. A championship, minimum 3 races. Exhibition, I believe it's just 1. I could be wrong though. So I had to start a 3-race event at every single one of these races. Do you see how many races there are? Like, that's insane. Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of races. Now that was just for the main story. Obviously, if we have Forzathon, where they're constantly updating it, coming up with creative challenges and whatever, hopefully, it'll make it a lot more interesting than just sitting there grinding my eyes out post-game, right? Because that was a grind, but you know, you get an achievement and stuff, so it's worth it, right? Another thing is the fan situation. Obviously, the max amount of fans. So if we come in here to like my storefront, you can see I have 25 million fans. Now, you can get like 25.1 million or like, you know, high 24s, but it's right about 25 million fans is the max you can get, and that's once you've 3-starred everything, you've completed all the events, all that stuff. I want that to be able to like grow. We should get fans for completing Forzathon. I should be able to have 100 million fans if I grind this game enough. I'm already at the point where I have 85 million credits. I don't need any more, right? Like, I don't need any credits. I just want fans. I want that bragging right that I have more fans than you. I want the bragging right that I have 100% game completion. Which I guess wouldn't necessarily be a thing if Forzathon is always happening. But you get my point. Like, we need more fans. Fans is where it's going. You should be able to get fans all the time. Another thing is barn finds. Barn finds have been confirmed. 100% will be in the game. I think they need to make those a little more interesting, although that wasn't really a big selling point for me. We need more barn finds. And one thing is building variation. I should be able to find a car in a warehouse, like an abandoned warehouse, an abandoned house. Like, they should have a couple different building styles. Whereas in Horizon 2, Horizon 3, Horizon 1, all the buildings looked exactly the same. So you could like fly your drone around and see one halfway across the map and be like, oh, well, there's a barn find. You know what I'm saying? They need like different types of buildings where cars could be. The cover car is the McLaren Senna. That's kind of whatever. It's just a new modern hypercar, mega car, whatever you want to consider it. And another big thing is the seasons. Now, we did already talk about the seasons, but I think that's like the biggest thing that's coming for this game, right? They had to model winter everywhere, spring everywhere. Like, the entire map they basically had to do 4 times. Now, the map is the same size as Horizon Australia, but I think that's personally fine. I was pretty happy with the size of this map, as long as we get like more roads, more interesting roads. You see a lot of these like straight boring roads, and a lot of like fun areas that don't have roads at all. For example, could you imagine if this was a paved road right here? Drifting this would be insane, right? But it's dirt. It's not, you know, concrete to drift. You can't autocross that or whatever. It's just a rally track. I think if they have roads both paved and unpaved like this all over, so they could have another one going like up to connect. So they could have a road from here to here, for example, that is paved, but is a similar style where it's like drifty and all that stuff. So I think that's something they could do. We don't really have that many drift spots, to be honest. We've got a couple down here in Byron Bay. We've got, you know, some nice corners up here, but there's no real sections in most of the map. It's just a couple in the airport, couple, you know, in the little cities and whatnot. But they really need to add more areas for fun. I don't want this video to get too long and too out of hand, so I hope you enjoyed. That's all the time I have for today. If you'd like to see more Forza Horizon 3, Forza Motorsport 7, or Need for Speed Payback, and you are new, be sure to subscribe, like the video if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.